Hi, it's Caleb.
And I'm Tori.
And welcome to our podcast, Uncork and Listen. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you do enjoy this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or on Spotify, whatever platform you're listening on. Also, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. This will all be in our channel description. Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Hope everyone is doing amazing. We're back again with another episode.
Yeah, so today we are going to uncork a bottle of Debonair Pinot Grigio.
All right.
If Caleb wants to open that. The reason why I picked this bottle specifically is honestly just because of the picture on it. I really like vintage stuff, and It's like a picture of a black and white dude sitting on like an old-timey bicycle, and like the front of it looks like one of those old-time record players.
Oh, it actually does.
Thingies, and also looks kind of like a flower.
Interesting.
But anyway, yeah, it's a cool image. I just like the way that it looks. Yeah. But go ahead and open.
It is pretty. I do like it too. All right, let's open this up. This one actually is a screw where it screws on and off.
Yeah, it's a screw top.
It's not a cork one like the previous one.
Awesome.
Would
you like to do a cheers?
Absolutely. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. That sounded good. Okay, here we go. This one isn't as dry as I was expecting it to be, but it's good.
It's good. It's crisp, but also a bit sweet.
Yeah. It's not crazy sweet, though. It's definitely not.
And this is probably because it's a Pinot Grigio, and a lot of times we go for the Sauvignon Blanc, which I feel like is very, like, tart.
Right.
You know? And this one
it's
not
as tart.
I wouldn't say it's tart at all.
Is this one of those, like, do you taste apple?
I don't
pear?
Honestly, I don't taste apple. I feel like we're so repetitive with this stuff sometimes.
But I mean, those are common things that are put in white wines.
It is what it is.
Sure.
I would lean more to pear on this one.
Okay. Anything else?
I would still say pear, but
yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's not a bad guess to say apple, actually.
Yeah,
because there's like a sharp note at the end.
I was wanting to say apple, but again, this goes back to me, like, I am just really bad at, like, flavors and
honestly, maybe a little floral at the end.
Okay.
I would say initially it tastes more sweet, like a pear, and then as you, like, swallow it, there's, like, a sharpness, like an apple.
Yeah.
And then, this is, like, so technical, kind of. Well, I'm making an observation.
Yeah, of course.
And then at the end, I'm getting kind of like a floral situation.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I there is definitely an aftertaste of flour, but you've always been a lot better at, coming at, like, you just seem to have a better taste sense than I do. So I'm always like looking at you like, what do you think,
right. Do you want me to read the bottle?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm honestly a little disappointed by this description because I feel like it's not very specific.
Oh, okay. Damn, okay.
But in a way, I feel like I'm a little bit right. I just feel like as far as all the bottles that we've gotten and read the description on, it's honestly kind of a lame description.
Okay.
But I'll read it anyway.
Girl.
It doesn't help me as much as I was wanting it to, I guess.
Right.
But it just says, confident, refined, and always memorable, this wine embodies what it means to be debonair.
Whatever the that means.
It's the name of the company, so they're
right. They were trying to like be like, but it honestly kind of sounds cheesy if I'm being honest. But whatever.
That's what I'm saying. The description isn't. Anyway,
it's fine. Continue reading. Yep.
It says our Pinot Grigio is known for its breathtaking aromas of citrus fruits, honeysuckle notes, and I said, remember how I said floral.
You did. This is true.
I feel like I am kind of picking up on that. And honeysuckle is kind of, it's like a sweeter flower.
It is. Yeah.
So I can definitely see that. And then it says combined with a refreshing, mouth-watering finish.
Okay.
So you see what I mean? I just feel like they didn't really give us much to go on.
Not really. I mean, but it's funny that they talk about honeysuckle because isn't that's a type of almost like a vine flower? Am I correct? Because
and you can kind of eat.
That's what I was saying. I wanted to say that because as a kid, I lived out in the not the boondocks, the country, and I would like go up to like these honeysuckle bushes, and I would take the flower, I'd break it off, and then I'd pull like the green stem part of it out, and it would pull this like nectar kind of stuff out, and it was sweet.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
You did? Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's why I can definitely see that because it's like kind of sweet, and I was also getting floral vibes from it.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the citrus, I think, makes sense because we were like, it's like we were kind of getting that apple, which is also acidic. You know? Yeah. So I feel like that makes sense.
I mean, I said apple, but at the same time, I'm very like
a green apple.
Right, like a sour.
Yeah.
Tart. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I can see that. I wish they put a little bit more into their description, honestly.
Yeah, I get that.
It's fair. It's fair.
It's fine. It's whatever. But anyway, so can we just like talk for a second? Well, this was actually yesterday.
Yeah, it was literally yesterday.
It was literally yesterday.
When I was first arriving.
So, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Tori... So, I live in Virginia. I live in a small town. It's not too far from Durham, Raleigh area.
It's pretty close to the border.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So, basically what happens is Tori comes to my house, and we hang out. We do our podcasts here. It just seems to be more convenient for the both of us when we do that. But anyway, so I just picked her up yesterday, brought her back in town. We decided to go to the store to just get some groceries. That way, like before we got home, anyway, not to get into that too much, but basically both of us went to the store. We bought some groceries and we go up to the cashier. Well, we get in line.
Yeah, we're waiting in line.
We're pretty much just waiting in line. And there was this woman. This woman.
I am a white woman in
ladies,
America.
Is there a problem?
Yeah.
That
cuts in front.
Basically, yeah, she cut in front of us, but at the same time, like, I did acknowledge that she did cut in front of us, but she seemed to be like super stressed. She didn't have like a lot of groceries or anything, so
she was just trying to like settle a bill or something.
That's just what it looked like to me.
Yeah, because she didn't have anything.
To this day, I have no idea what the hell she was doing.
Yeah,
but so I just like let her cut in front. You know, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, and we didn't care. We didn't care.
We're just talking, like having a good time and all this stuff. But anyway, so we pull up, we put our groceries on the conveyor belt, and she's still there, and something was
I don't know why it was
on. It was taking
a minute.
Something was going on. She was having a full-blown attitude, and we were literally just talking about the weather, guys. Yeah. We were talking about how hot it's been, and
you want
to go ahead and go ahead.
I kind of wanted to cut in for a second. Just to give like a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
That Caleb may not remember, but I experienced this. So I was the one talking at the time.
Right. Oh, this is true.
Because Caleb brought up the weather and how hot it's been lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I chimed in and was like, yeah, yesterday it was like 88 degrees and it's like April, which is crazy for here. And so I was, like acknowledging that, it was hot yesterday. So we set up a dog pool in the backyard for the dogs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And literally the minute that I said that, the girl she just looks over at me. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that I thought when she looked over at me is typically when you're in public and someone almost acknowledges that they heard something that you said.
Right.
I was just thinking on a positive note, oh, maybe she has dogs too. Maybe she set up a dog pool for her dogs recently too. And she was just like, oh, wait, I heard somebody say that. And so she looked over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's a pretty common kind of just interaction response kind of situation.
That's how I would be too. Like if I'm waiting in line and I hear somebody talking about dogs and putting up a dog pool, and if I had done the same thing, I would have looked over like, oh, I've been doing that too.
Right, yeah.
And so that's the initial vibe that I was getting when she looked over at me and kind of made eye contact briefly.
Right.
And so in my head, that's where my mind was going, is like, oh, maybe she connected with what I was saying.
Yeah.
She heard me.
Right.
And maybe did the same thing, whatever. But then I keep talking, just literally like a matter of seconds later. It happened pretty fast.
It did.
And then she looks back at me and she goes, "Can you shut the up?"
Can I just... You and I both sat there and we were like, stunned.
We were in total shock.
I was in total shock. Like,
I've never in my life experienced like someone speaking to me like that, especially in public.
Yes, there was people around. It's not like it was just us three.
Obviously, like, she doesn't know me.
No.
And I felt like we weren't even being loud. We were talking very casually, literally about the weather and about dog pools.
Yeah.
And she looks over to me and says that. And I'm like instantly shocked, because where my mind is going is like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Like, was I talking too loud?
Girl, you did nothing wrong.
Was I actually being annoying? I'm like confused, because I'm like, we weren't talking about anything that crazy. It was super simple.
Like, we were literally having such a good time, and then this whole bitch decides to say that, and
we're just like both over here just in total shock. Like,
oh, I was shaking. Well, I feel like your reaction to it was a lot different than mine, even though we both obviously were shocked.
I felt borderline embarrassed for some reason. Like, I'm being called out in public.
She should be embarrassed. She should be ashamed.
I just felt like I was being called out in public by a stranger for like being quote unquote
literally just living your life.
Yeah, like, I'm not even talking about anything that crazy.
Right. It was not annoying. You weren't even talking to her. Like, it was nothing. It was just casual conversation, literally about the weather.
Yeah.
And she had to pull that whole thing. But let me say that. I want to say this, because when all this went down, I don't know if you saw me, but I was shaking.
Yeah, I could tell that you were shook. I mean, I was shook. We were just looking at each other like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was so bizarre. But my reason for being shocked and like shaking and just like my emotions were just kind of going like, I was haywire at that point. Like, I was just going crazy. Because
you probably felt borderline like protective. Like, I feel like I should
100
say something.
Freaking percent. Like, I was like, I was always told, like, as a boy, that I'm not supposed to hit a girl. Like, I'm not supposed to, like, you know, be mean to a girl. Like, it was because, like, I grew up with two sisters. I had a lot of cousins that were girls. Like, all the girls were in my life. So I was always told to be respectful. But let me tell you something right now. I don't care what you identify as. If you are going to talk like that, it took
to your cousin.
To my cousin Tori, who I love dearly.
And you know,
you
I'm a
cannot,
good person. Like,
right?
I was not causing
like, this isn't even, it was nothing. And then, but it took so much. Like, I wanted to punch the shit out of this woman. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, it made me so upset and angry, and I was so shook up over it. But I told myself, I was like, do not. She's probably just trying to get attention. Just don't do anything.
I mean,
it was the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced from another person I didn't even know.
Especially like a girl, and she was like a short girl too.
Right, she was tiny. Like, I'm about to. She ain't gonna take me down.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
It's like, if someone like that is willing to be that bold, to speak that rudely to a stranger in public, it's like, what else would she be willing to do? Which is also what was going through my mind. I just felt unsafe. So I just literally just shut down and didn't say anything else, because I felt like if I kept talking or if I did something, it was gonna stir the pot that she was already, in my opinion, was already trying to stir. Yeah. Basically. And we need to be the mature ones. Yeah. We're not gonna let a whole do that. Yeah. No. Absolutely not. I was figured we'd share that story. Afraid, and I didn't want to start anything.
It was absolutely.
So we just kept quiet the whole time, but it's wild, man.
Crazy. But I mean, we weren't even. I mean, I'm just gonna say this. If I see her again.
Yeah, because it's a small town.
It's a small town. It's a small town. Which you would assume, like, things wouldn't happen in a small town. Like, normally in a small town, people are, like, so friendly. Nice. And, I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a stereotypical thing. I don't know. But I just have never experienced that ever. Yeah. But anyway, I just also wanted to bring this up. We did talk about this a while back, and I know we wanted to share this in our podcast. we haven't, it's been a while, I don't know, but I was talking to Dad a couple months back, and I don't even know how I would say this, but he has a friend who does a lot of hunting out in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And like in like the Raleigh, not the Raleigh area, but
kind of outside of Raleigh.
Kind of outside of
the country outside of Raleigh. Right. Yeah.
But basically, he has a bunch of buddies out there that go hunting, and one of my dad's friends brought up, like, he kept saying, I'm going to be with the flowers. Like, I'm going to be hunting with the flowers and stuff like that. And
that's our last name.
Yeah, but yes, sorry, I didn't bring that up, but that is actually my last name. That was Tori's last name. It's your maiden name, right? Excuse me, I'm burping a lot. But I was like, the flowers? Like, what is it? Like, does he know, like, our family? Like, what's going on here?
What do you mean you're hunting with the flowers?
Right. Like, I didn't know.
That's our name.
Right. And
so
I'm like, to my knowledge, I don't know any people in my family that like really go like hunting,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was really confused about it, and Dad was like, oh no, he's talking about Percy Flowers' family. And I at the time did not know who Percy Flowers was, so I kept asking him.
And I've actually known about
right, yes, you have known a while, but
you somehow didn't know.
I had no earthly idea. So I asked Dad who this Percy Flowers was, and apparently he was, to a degree, a well-known man in the area of Raleigh and North Carolina kind of area. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you have more knowledge on this, honestly, but he apparently has connections with our grandpa, or papa.
Like,
and
our grandpa knows people from that family.
Yes.
And we share the same last name.
So,
and from the same area
go ahead.
of North Carolina.
Right.
So it's like, you know, your mind has to kind of wander a little bit. Like, obviously, we don't know 100% if we are related, genetically related.
But at the same time,
it's like,
your last name is Flowers.
What are the chances?
You're in Raleigh, which is where the whole Flowers family is.
Like we all came from the same area.
Right.
And back in the day, there were not that many people in that area.
No.
So if we have the same last name, it's like, we have to be related in some way.
I just wish we could find that out. I don't know how exactly we would do that.
I don't know. I mean, I've taken DNA tests.
Right. Yes, you're right. You have.
Before, but I haven't specifically sought that out, I guess. So I'd have to do more research on it. But just logically speaking, if we come from the same area from way back in the day when there was not a big population, right, and we have the same last name, it's like...
Raleigh area was not the way it is to this day.
It wasn't even Raleigh. It was not even Raleigh.
Right,
it was outside
technically,
in the country.
You're right.
So it's like... I personally, like, deep down, I feel like we are related in some way. We just
I would assume so.
We just don't have any genetic proof.
We just don't have proof of it.
But it's
so we can't be like, we're related.
Yeah, we're related.
You know.
We can't make that statement, but I feel like just logically speaking, we probably are.
Right.
You know?
To some sort of capacity. Mm-hmm. Have to be. But yeah, anyway.
Because family trees, honestly, are huge, and they branch out all over the place. It's pretty complicated. So I feel like in some way we are related. I just don't know in what capacity we are, but I feel like we're ranting and people probably have no idea what we're talking about.
some might.
Unless they're from around here, maybe that they do.
They might. It's just interesting history.
Just so, you know, you guys know, we can kind of delve into the history a little bit. But Percy Flowers, you know, keep in mind our last name is Flowers.
Literally. It's crazy. I'm pouring some more wine. Do you want some more?
On our dad's side. Sure. Okay. You can refill me. Percy Flowers is a pretty notorious moonshiner.
Yes.
From back in the day. And in the southeast, it was very much illegal. And I think to this day it still is illegal to make your own moonshine.
Pretty sure it is.
Because it's regulated by the government.
Right.
You know.
We would have to look that shit up, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is. So... Percy Flowers, who we are saying we could very much potentially be related to.
Yeah.
He was born in 1903.
Okay.
And
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then he passed away in 1982. But I can kind of read off a little bit of a description.
Yeah, just share
him.
certain things about him that I.
So yeah, he was an American businessman and moonshiner.
Mm-hmm.
He began to purchase land in the early years of the Great Depression to farm cotton and tobacco, and produced crops until the 1970s. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was a businessman, philanthropist, and a noted fox hunter. He had a lot of hunting dogs. He bred them.
Yeah.
And he is North Carolina's #1 producer of illegal alcohol in the mid-20th century. He was the #1 producer.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. He's pretty iconic in that area, for sure.
That is wild. Crazy.
Just to give some more history on that, if anybody's interested in history, and it's interesting because this is
it's Mumbler. It's interesting for us because of the fact that
he's probably a family member.
He has to be.
But
go ahead.
It says that he purchased several pieces of land during the early portion of the Great Depression and farmed the land until the 1970s. It says Flowers is reported to have been a pillar of the White Oak Baptist Church and to have close ties with local politicians. So a lot, pretty much everybody in the area knew about him. He was popular.
Had to have.
And I've seen some documentaries and stuff about him too.
Right.
And everybody talks very highly of him.
Right.
Everybody loved the dude. He was just a very, friendly, lovable kind of person. Everybody knew him. It says he operated an illegal liquor production facility on his 5,000-acre farm in Johnston County, North Carolina, which is kind of, it's where our family came from.
Crazy, it is.
Papa's family, our grandpa's family. He literally was born there.
And to top it off, before we keep reading, our papa Percy Flowers' daughters.
Yeah, he knows them personally.
They will literally run into each other a food line or something, but oh hey, they actually acknowledge each other and know who they are. Which is crazy.
So it's let's
crazy
just think about that for a second.
Right.
I feel like we probably are related, but we just don't know for a 100%.
I think we are. We just technically just can't prove it.
Right.
But whatever.
But anyway.
Continue.
So it says he is reputed to have earned $1 million per year in untaxed revenue through this endeavor. So because of the...
Through moonshining?
From moonshine.
Oh my gosh.
He literally earned, because it's under the table, because it was illegal. So
right.
He wasn't paying taxes.
So he was getting it was straight up cash kind of situation.
Straight up cash, non-taxed $1 million a year from that. And this is back in the 50s, 60s. So $1 million back then, I can't even imagine how much money that was.
That's a lot of money, honey.
A lot for that time.
That's a lot. Yes. That's a whole thing we get into, actually.
Yeah.
How much money would have been in that time.
Yeah, we can look that up in a second. I just wanted to finish kind of going through this.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, keep reading.
But it says that Flowers was indicted 10 times by federal grand juries and 18 times at the state and local level. He was variously charged with bootlegging, reckless driving, illegal purchase of a firearm, and tax evasion, but rarely spent any time in jail. Isn't that wild?
Craziness. And why would you think that is, though? Was he just not getting caught, or was he just people just liked him so much that it was just one of those situations?
Yeah, honestly, from what I know about him and everything, is he was very beloved by the community and everybody knew him, and he had connections with politicians and whatnot. So I feel like he had a good enough test of character that he just was kind of riding the fence a little bit, if you will. But literally by nationwide, a nationwide paper. I can't remember what newspaper it was, but he was literally headlined front page on a national paper at one point. He was called the King of the Moonshiners. So he was yeah. People knew about him back in the day.
People knew. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that is so bizarre.
And it says here that as a disregard of his open hold on. I read that totally wrong.
That's fine.
Back up.
You're good.
Because I'm reading.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But it says, as a result of his open disregard for the laws governing alcohol production and consumption, along with his lavish donations to his church and those in need, he was seen by some as a Robin Hood-like hero.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was rich and he would give a lot of money to people.
But it's crazy because I literally brought that up. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why I brought that up. But I was talking about, did it kind of give like a Robin Hood vibe? Didn't I say that?
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
I mentioned that earlier. But yeah, so anything else? Oh, you want to share? Because I have the numbers pulled up for like.
Yeah, I mean that's like basically the gist of it, I guess.
It is cool stuff. I mean, it's really interesting.
But it's interesting
considering
it's
the fact that we could possibly be related to them.
We could very easily be related to him. Yeah, it's interesting.
Right. But yeah, so I just pulled up the numbers for like how much 1 million would have been during that time. I did the 50s. Do I need to like change that?
He was doing this because it said that he first was getting his land like in the Great Depression, but he did this stuff all the way through the 70s though.
So should we say like the 40s or 50s? I want to find middle ground here.
Let's do a middle ground and do the 50s.
50? Okay.
Yeah, because he was making this every year, right? So.
All right, so get this. So $1 million in 1950, I just said 50, is worth $12,959,834.02.
No.
That's how much money he was making.
Whoa.
Taxes regard.
And we're
forget
talking
the taxes.
about like Johnston County back in the day.
That is
in the middle of nowhere country, North Carolina.
That is absolutely insane. Crazy.
It's no wonder that he was in all the papers then, because that's
right.
wild.
You have to be well known for that kind of shit.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it makes sense that he was known as like a Robin Hood figure, since he was giving a lot of his money away to people in need and stuff, because he obviously had it. So it's like, I think that's why everybody liked him. And he wasn't like a straight up like hoodlum criminal, because he was a well-established businessman and stuff, and he gave back.
We have no, like, I mean, it never talked about like how he did anything terrible or anything. He was just kind of living his life.
Yeah.
Living his life.
He knew how to make that money.
Clearly regarding, like, wow, that is just craziness to me. Craziness.
Yeah.
But we actually wanted to go ahead and go into our little, like, trivia segment or halftime. I don't even know what we would call it at this point.
Game time.
Game time. Woohoo! But yeah, so we wanted to continue the whole like the takeout, I forgot what we called it. Oh my gosh.
It's like if you're on a deserted island.
Right. We'll use that.
And you have six options of something. You have to take 3 out and you have to keep 3.
Yes.
What would you keep and what would you discard?
Right. And we've done TV shows, we've done movies, but this time around I recommended that we actually do like a food cuisine kind of segment. I think that would be fun because your boy likes some food.
Yeah, man.
Woo, I love some food. I'll tear some food. But our 6 options are Mexican, American, Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Mediterranean.
Okay. So we have a lot of Asian.
And if you need to look at them again, I have them right here if you need them.
Yeah, we have a lot of Asian options.
We do actually.
Honestly, Asia is a big continent.
It is a huge continent, and all their food is freaking amazing. I just have to say.
Yeah,
so
it's true. So it's fair.
It's hard to pick, quite frankly.
Am I going first or are you going first?
You go first. That's fine. Yeah.
So I have to narrow down 3 that I keep, 3 that I would get away. Honestly, so the first thing that I 100% would keep is Mediterranean, because I love me some Mediterranean food. If it's Greek, if it's Lebanese, whatever it may be, all of that food is probably number one for me. It's like very fresh, very flavorful.
Okay, so I got you.
I have to keep Mediterranean easy, hands down.
Yes.
Honestly, I would probably get rid of American when it comes to all these things. Like, honestly, like, let's just mark that off the list right now.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I only can keep 3. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna pick now.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna keep Vietnamese for the same reason that I want to keep Mediterranean, because they have a lot of fresh.
Yes.
Like pho.
Ooh. Literally one of my favorite dishes is pho.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
absolutely.
I can't let myself.
You just can't let that go, honey. You can't do it.
And honestly, I think I will get rid of Chinese.
Okay.
And oh man, I love me some Mexican food. I really do.
Like real, not this chain.
No.
Like real, authentic Mexican food.
But as wild as this may seem, I'm kind of leaning more on the Asian vibe when it comes to food, because me personally, I like fresh, more fresh kind of food.
Asian culture is well known for having a lot of like fresh vegetables.
Yeah, like raw veggies and things.
It's true, yeah.
And I just like having that balance of like a raw veggie with cooked stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I just like that combination, whereas
I agree.
Both American and Mexican, I feel like they just cook everything.
Right.
And I love it. Like,
yeah, of course.
But when
listen, y'all, none of this food that we have listed hate or anything like that.
I love all of it.
We purposely pick options that are going to make it hard for us.
Yeah.
To like decide.
Like a hard decision.
Yeah.
So if I have to pick 3 out of these, honestly, I think I'm going to do Mediterranean, Vietnamese, and Japanese.
Okay.
Honestly. And I think I'm going to get rid of Mexican, American, and Chinese.
Sounds good.
Is that fair?
Good. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I think that's what I would do, honestly.
Yep. Now it's my turn.
Uh-huh.
I feel like this one honestly is very, 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 very hard for me. Even more hard than like the shows and movies we've done. I don't know. Yeah. It's just for me it's
tough.
This one's really hard. I just love all food. Yeah, I can't think of a single food that I do. Excuse me, I don't love.
Because like we're not picky eaters. We love all the different cultural foods.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's tough.
I am surprised we did not put Indian food in here. I didn't even think to do that.
We should have put Indian.
It should just pop. I mean, oh man, I could maybe do this another
time or something.
Oh, but yeah, absolutely we could do that. But there's no way my ass is cutting out Indian food. I'm just saying.
Talk about flavor.
Right, for real. They use so many spices. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. But I actually I'm going to keep Mexican. And when I say Mexican, I'm meaning authentic, real. I'm not talking about the chain stuff.
Handmade tortillas.
I'm talking about the real right?
Like if you go to like a food truck or like an authentic place,
Oh my gosh. So I am definitely keeping Mexican.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut out American too. I'm sorry.
I just feel like it's easy to cut out American when it comes to. It's funny because it's how we were raised, and it's like comfort food.
It is comfort food, and I'm not saying like I love a good, burger. Is a burger American?
Yeah, like burger. Yeah,
it's a hamburger American. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, but like I don't know. I feel like there's just thank you. I don't know. I feel like it's just not as interesting.
When it comes to all the options.
When you have so many other options, it's just American's just not that interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to cut out American food. Bye.
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 See ya.
Ooh, this is... Oh, wait. How many do I have right now? I have Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can pick 2 more. For me... God. I'm going to also have to cut out Japanese.
No.
I love Japanese. I love sushi. Sushi's one of my favorite foods, but I just can't get rid of specific ones on this list.
Okay.
I just can't do it. I'm going to keep Mediterranean.
Of course.
I just can't get rid of that.
That was my number one. I was like, I can't get rid of that.
Mediterranean is just so freaking good. Can't do it. But my last options, I need to keep one more and take out one.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I'm going to I'm going to take out Chinese.
Okay. 4.
I'm going to take out Chinese. I don't know. Like, I've had Chinese food before, and when it comes to Asian culture, because like, you know, I've actually experienced a lot of Asian culture. I used to live in Asia.
Yeah.
And Chinese is good. It's really good, but it's just, there's just other options for me that I just personally prefer.
Almost on the cheaper end.
Well, we're just so used to it because, like, of the stupid Chinese chain.
Yeah.
The Americanized, I guess you could say, version of Chinese food, because what they serve here in America is nothing compared to, like, what they actually serve, you know, in other, like, in China and other places like that. But anyway, even though it's still good, I'm still gonna cut it out. Chinese food. But Vietnamese.
Okay.
I have to keep that.
Oh, yeah.
I have to keep it. And not only is it obviously good, but I actually have a very, like, emotional connection to Vietnamese food, because when I lived in Mongolia, we were, and I think I've talked about this actually have I talked about living in Mongolia?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make sure. I was surrounded by a lot of Vietnamese people, and all the mothers were well known for cooking some frickin' good food, right?
Okay,
Pho was one of them. There was a bunch of different dishes and stuff that were just so good, but, like, Vietnamese, I just cannot cut out. Not only is it good, but it holds a very close place. There's just it's very nostalgic for me. I just love it. It's really, 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 really good. I couldn't bring myself
to cut that one out either.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah. And the pho, like I said earlier, is just, it's one of my favorite dishes.
So good.
It's just so good. The rice noodles, it's fresh. Yes. And can we actually say this? Light. It's super light and fresh, and the noodles are good. And I wanted to say this thing about rice noodles. I don't understand why this is the case, because normally, like, pasta noodles are super, like, I get bloated.
They're heavy.
It's super heavy. I get bloated. Right. But rice noodles, even though rice can be filling, it's like not when in like a sushi concept, like sushi can get filling due to the rice.
Of course.
But rice noodles, are just
so much lighter than wheat noodles.
For some reason,
They're
it is
so good.
It's just so good. I can't do it. Mm-mm. Absolutely can't do it.
So your final answers for everything?
So my final answer, what I'm keeping Mexican, Vietnamese, and Mediterranean.
Okay.
And I'm throwing out American, Japanese, and Chinese.
Okay.
I hate to do it.
Yeah, it's fair.
But that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, since we're on the food side of this all, I actually... we were talking about, and this is going back to North Carolina with, like, you know.
Yeah, because we're basically both
pretty much
from North Carolina. I mean, I know you were born.
Well, I lived in different places, but
our family, like our roots.
Right, our roots are the Raleigh, North Carolina area.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And outside, like the country, whatever, like yeah.
But one thing North Carolina is well known for is their barbecue. North Carolina barbecue sauce is the best barbecue sauce out there.
And it's like...
Don't even try to challenge it with me, because nothing's going to work.
I know, right?
Nothing's going to work.
I know people from other places would probably want to debate us on this.
They're not even going to win. I don't even care.
Dude, like,
don't even care.
The thing about the South, with a lot of things, not even just barbecue, is we like our vinegar.
Yes.
Like, we like our vinegar.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, like collard greens, you got to put the vinegar on the collard greens.
It's
like,
true.
Honestly, for me, like...
Even, like, on coleslaw.
Yeah.
Coleslaw.
Like, I just prefer...
There's a plethora of things that we just put vinegar in.
Yeah, like, for me, and I don't know if it's just because I'm from here or something.
Sure.
But, like, I prefer more tart palates to sweet palates. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would way more prefer something tart over something sweet.
Right.
So even like, I hate the smell of vinegar. Like literally, I have like a really good sense of smell, so things bother me.
I know you do.
More
Clearly.
easily than maybe some people.
Yes.
And I can't
absolutely
stand the smell of vinegar. But when it comes to like eating food, like literally any type of like beans, vegetables, collard greens, meats, like I'm telling you, it adds something to it that's just like,
it's hard to explain, but you have to like you have to have had like North Carolina barbecue to understand what we're talking about.
It's like, it's not just like the vinegar kind of sour base, but it also has like a spice.
Yes,
it's like a spicy vinegar.
And I'm pretty sure you put like things like honey in it too, or I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I honestly don't know because I've never actually made it myself.
I've seen your dad make it, and to my knowledge, there's honey in it.
They do. Honestly, this sounds like disgusting. Well,
I don't even think so.
I don't think they do this.
I disagree with that. Yeah.
No, they put like Texas Pete in it, which is like a sweeter. Right. It's a sweeter hot sauce.
Sure. I'm gonna pour some more. Do you want some?
Sure.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like the spiciest of all hot sauces. It's definitely more on the sweet side. So it has kind of a sweeter level, but it is, you know, kind of spicy and has that zing from the vinegar.
Right.
If you've never tasted it, it's very hard to explain, but North Carolina barbecue is just where it's at, and you can't tell me any different.
Right.
Because you know how they make barbecue like up north? Where it's like sweet.
It's sweet. And
like barbecue sauce.
Yeah, let me pause you right there just for a second, because so Tori, both of her parents, her mom and her dad, are in the southern kind of area.
Yeah, both of my parents came from here.
But for me, my dad was born in Raleigh, obviously, and then my mom was born up north. So I have experienced like different ways of barbecue, basically, and since I've experienced both, I can obviously I can compare, and just I'm sorry, North Carolina barbecue is just better. You just can't.
And it's funny. I actually kind of have a funny little story to add to that.
Sure, yeah.
So my husband's parents are from up north.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Kyle's dad is from Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Area.
So like East Pennsylvania kind of area.
Yeah.
Correct?
Like New Jersey.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Pennsylvania. They live both those areas.
Okay.
And so he was only used to like the northern barbecue. And Kyle's mom is from Kentucky, which is like kind of, I guess, country vibes, but it's still like northeast. It
is in quote unquote northeast.
Or not northeast, it's like northwest.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I was just the whole country vibe. You were saying it's definitely a more country kind of vibe. For sure. But yeah,
way more than like where he came from. But it's still like kind of northwest-ish.
Sure.
So all that to say, neither of them though had North Carolina barbecue, obviously, because they were like up in that whole area.
Right.
And then they eventually moved here for his work when Kyle was like, I don't know, was it middle school, high school, something like that?
Right.
And it's just funny to me just because I've always been from this area and stuff, and like I grew up with like, this is barbecue to me.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's what it is.
You didn't know what it was?
And then yeah, exactly. But they obviously had that version. And they will tell you, like, the first time that they ever had North Carolina barbecue, they were expecting barbecue, like, from where they came from.
Yeah.
And they were, like, so shocked and off-put by it because they're used to, like, a sweet barbecue.
Like a sweet, almost, like, syrupy, more thicker, condensed kind of, like, whereas condiment,
here, it's
basically.
More, like, sharp, vinegary.
Yeah, it's so like a...
When they tasted it for the first time, they were so shocked and off-put by it. They were like, what the heck is this? Like, this is not barbecue.
Right.
So it's just kind of funny. Like, I've heard them tell that story a bunch of times, but they obviously have lived in North Carolina now obviously for a while, and it grew on them. And to this day, like they do like North
It didn't even
Carolina.
have to grow on me. Like I've always been
it's I'm sorry not to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But it's like if you're expecting sweet and you get sour,
it can be
it's
shocking.
off-putting.
Yeah, it's a little shocking.
They were expecting this, but they got that, so it's like,
Right.
what?
I think for me, I have always been like super adventurous when it comes to trying different foods and stuff like that. So for me, when I even like I was born in Chicago, I lived in Pittsburgh a little bit, so I did have like that northern experience. To my knowledge, I didn't live in like southern states until I was like 10, 12 or something when I moved to like Goldsboro.
Like our family is from here.
You're right.
Y'all were just moving all over the place.
We were always moving, so I didn't, to my knowledge, I don't remember really trying North Carolina barbecue until I actually moved down there. Okay. I was just used to other things, but like I said earlier, I've been very like I'm very adventurous.
Yeah.
Very curious to try other different types. I'm very open-minded. So having North Carolina barbecue for the first time was not that shocking to me.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, I will say this, and my mom will testify this too. My dad introduced Mom to barbecue because she's a northern girl.
Right, yeah.
And Mom, to this day, she only makes North Carolina barbecue.
Really?
To this day. And she lives in Denver, outside of Denver.
Even though she's from Pennsylvania.
Right.
And that's what she was used to.
Yeah.
She thinks that this is the best way.
Oh, 100%. She thinks it's the best barbecue. Absolutely. And now she lives in Denver, and with all her friends and stuff, she introduces them to North Carolina barbecue. And they have no earthly idea what it is.
That's crazy.
And she will not make barbecue any other way. But yeah. So I think we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. If any of you are interested, please check out our store on Etsy by searching Uncork and Listen. The link will also be in our description below. If you want to check us out also on Instagram, we have an account. Just search Uncork and Listen. If you would give us a follow, we really would appreciate it. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time you're listening to this on, and hope you will join us next time.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. It's been great.
It's been great, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.